Let's talk about DNA and genes, genetics real quick, and then we'll go into how viruses use that to reproduce. So you have chromosomes that contain strands of DNA that have all of the instructions that make you what you are. So if over here is a strand of DNA, on our video organizer, number 25 said if the DNA is the book for understanding bacteria, then the genes are its pages. So what's meant by that, so in this strand of DNA, then it has all kinds of different little tidbits of information about you. So, you're going to have blonde hair, and you're going to be a male or a female, or you're going to have a big nose like me, or whatever. And so on and on and on and on. So these are the genes that make up the pages of the book that makes up your DNA, which is found in the chromosomes. Wow, a lot of stuff there. All right, so here's one reason a virus is not considered a living thing. One thing we said all living things can do is reproduce as a species. Well, they really can't, or they can't do it on their own. So here's how it works. I've got a cell here, and inside the cell is the nucleus. That's like the brain of the cell, and you can see I've got two little green strands representing its DNA. Well, along comes Mr. Virus, or Ms. Virus. They don't really have boys or girls, so we'll just call it a virus. And you can see representing purple, there's two purple strands of DNA in that. So it finds a host cell. Now, this virus is going to inject its DNA into the cell. So now into the nucleus or brain in the cell, it's got two sets of instructions. You can see the green ones representing the cell's instructions, the purple ones representing the virus's instructions. Well, now the cell doesn't know which set of instructions necessarily to look for. Sometimes you get into this as a kid. Mom tells you, "Oh, go clean your room," and Dad says, "No, you go outside and rake the leaves," or whatever. So it's got two sets of instructions, so it doesn't know which ones to listen to. Well, if it ends up listening to the virus instructions, well, the virus's DNA says, "Make more viruses." And so it uses, since they can't reproduce on their own, the virus uses the cell's resources to make more viruses, and they end up making thousands of viruses in just one cell. I just drew like 8. Then, once that virus has worked the cell to death, then it's called lysis. The cell just bursts, and that releases those, thousands of viruses, and then each one of those viruses goes and finds a new cell to take over. And so you can see why some viral diseases can get so bad so quickly, because if this was 1,000 viruses from one cell, now those 1,000 viruses, they go take over cells. Well, that 1,000 quickly becomes, say 1,000,000, and then on and on and on. So that's a little bit about how a virus reproduces and why they're not considered living, because they're not reproducing on their own. They are using your cells.